YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, today we're playing with carbies, little Fergie carbies to be exact. The TE20s, the early TE20s came out with a little holly carby, which I don't have one. I haven't come across one of those to do up for you yet. But today I've got a couple of mates down, or blokes I know down south in Harvey Bay, and they're restoring tractors, and just for the pleasure, like we all do, and they've brought us up a couple of carbies here. So the first carby on the TE20 was the 24T. Now that carby there, this is the side you see on the tractor. The air cleaner hose comes in here, the manifold goes up here, and the rounded body on here gives it away that it's a 24T. It's got Zenith written on it, but this is a 24T carby. The back side looks like that. Now, if you compare the 24T here to the later model on the TE20s, which is the 28G, air cleaner still here. It has a bigger hose, so I think you'll find that there's one of them has a stepped hose and one doesn't. The 28G carby, this is off a Gold Series Gold Belly 35. The 28G was used on the very late TE20s, then on the 35s, the petrol 35s, right up to the 135s, I believe. So we're going to do a bit of a video on running through fixing them. There's going to be a video on each carby. The videos would just be too long if we did if we did them all in one video. So there'll be a 24T video and a 28G video, and this is going to go on the front of both of them. Another option from Sparex is a brand new, and it's genuine Zenith, it's not Chinese rubbish. You can get a brand spanking new carby out of the box, a 24T, pardon me, and sometimes that's a good option too. If you spend a lot of money on your tractor and you just want it perfect, and they certainly look nice on the side of the tractor. So look, stay tuned. We'll get in a bit heavier with the carbies. We'll strip them down, open them up, have a look what to look for, have a look where the wear is. I'll bead blast the housings, get them nice and clean. I've made a jig that I can put the carbies onto to re-bush the main butterfly shaft. So we'll cover all that and put it back together. And whether you want to have a go yourself or whether you just like watching blokes muck around with tractors, stay with us and hopefully you find it interesting. Okay, on this video we're going to put the 28G aside and we're going to work on this 24T. Now right from the scratch we've got a bit of a problem. The customer's just brought that to me. He's bought me a bit of a kit to put on it, but there's bits missing out of the kit. There's gaskets missing and things like that, so I may have to get a new kit yet. But one of the worries we have is that it's actually missing this rod here, and the rod should go here, down through this little piece of tube here, up to the butterfly, the main butterfly. See, the top is your butterfly shaft, the bottom is your choke shaft, and as you pull the choke on, keep in mind that your governor, this goes up to your governor housing, and so by going to your governor housing there's a bit of back pressure on there, and so when you open your choke it gets to the bend in the bar there, and once it gets to the bend in the bar it actually pushes up, and what it does, it just opens the butterfly a little bit just to give you a slightly richer mixture to help you start on a cold day. So look, I know we live in Queensland, pretty warm climate, and that part's probably not that necessary. There's a lot of tractors without them, I know, but the trouble is with doing it, to find one then go and fit one, you've got to pull the top off again, which all in all is not a big job either. But for this video we're going to put this 24T aside as well, and we're going to work on this one. So follow along, we'll just try and strip him down and tell you what to look for. Look for shaft movement. This has been loosened off by the customer. This is how you get them sometimes, and there's a lot of movement in general. So we'll strip this one down and see how we go. So first off, because this is finger tight, we'll undo that. That should have a shake-proof washer behind it, and it hasn't got one. Then that's where your governor shaft goes. So your governor shaft comes in here, then the little rod comes up to there, and then this fella here, he just sits against your idle speed screw. Now that screw there, he adjusts the speed of the idle. You've already adjusted the mixture when you get to that stage, and this just adjusts the speed a little bit, so you can have it set at a speed that's convenient for you. So we'll take that fella off, we'll get rid of this. Most tractors I seem to find have this screw missing, so I'm thinking of making some, but anyway, I'll see. I could make, the first couple would be for myself, so we'll see how we go. Right, now down inside there you can see two tiny little screws, and they're your butterfly screws. So you can see those down in here. So we undo those, and look, whether you undo these now or you undo them later, it doesn't matter. I'm just starting at the top and working down. You can unbolt the top here and then just work on this piece alone if that's what you'd like to do. The order that some of this is done is irrelevant. That's got it, she's on her way. These screws have been out a few times, they're quite mangled on the head. I suppose in the 70-year life of a tractor, 60 to 70 years, a lot of things have happened. But yeah, the heads are mangled a little bit. No big deal, I'm pretty sure we get new ones. So that actually fits inside the butterfly shaft and pulls out. Alright, I might go the other way with that. Now, I should have had some pointy pliers here and I could have just popped that straight out for you, but it just wasn't organised properly. So we can undo the screws on the top here now. This hasn't got the fitting sitting in there anymore. Someone's taken it off before they sent it into us. And keep a track of things along the way. You'll notice all the screws have a little spring washer on them, except this one. That's gone. Been lost in its lifetime somewhere. So we might have to try and find another little spring washer for it. There's a washer missing off this one as well. Now once you have the 5 screws out of the top there, you should be able to pull it apart, just like that. So there's your top housing. That has your needle and seat here. Looks like it's been fairly new. Now, with this little butterfly, I can hop in from this side here. Being gentle. There's your butterfly. Now the butterfly shaft will come out. That's a pretty new shaft. Now on the end of the butterfly shaft is a little plug to keep the dirt out, right there. I'll try and keep in focus for you if I can. That little fella there. Now the amount of carbies I come across where that's not there, I noticed the 28G hasn't got one. So it's just, I haven't found a supply of those either. And there's that little plug. It's just a tiny thing, but it is important. I take it out so we can put a ream right through when the time comes. There's not an awful lot of wear in that actually. It may be not worth bushing even. Now the idle speed screw, the idle mixture screw I should say, I'm telling you bull here. You can come out. What we look for here is that screw, the taper on the end there, is not damaged in any way, not bent or anything like that. That's looking good. Now the needle and seat, that looks pretty new. So on the top there, that gives us a bare housing. You can see straight through here. It's looking pretty good. And what we look for now, we'll get a ruler shortly and we'll run a ruler across the top here, make sure that we haven't got any warps in here. Over the time there's been some pretty thick gaskets on some of these carbies, and this dishes down, you know, where it's bolted up too tight, the carbie bends through here, so there's a low spot here and high spot here, so we're just going to check if that's true. And just for general wear and tear, you know, no scratches, no cracks, no anything like that. And this is looking pretty good. The thread in there isn't too bad, so that can sit aside for the moment. I'll get rid of my knockometer. Now the float looks good. It's got top written on it, so you can't really go wrong. There's no dints in it. If you have a dinted float that's got a big ding in it, that's often from a backfire. It backfires through the carbie and pressurises the float chamber here, and it will dint them. But this is a good one. Give it a rattle. There's no fuel in it, so we're pretty sure that's not leaking. There's a gasket here. Now the venturi comes out. That's what draws the fuel out, the difference in air going through a small hole into a big one causes a low pressure, and that draws fuel in up out of the main jet. So that's looking good. We can't see any problem there. Now you have the two jets here. Now the idea with the two jets is fit the biggest screwdriver that will do the job in the hole, so it goes right across both both flats, or screwdriver flats. So we'll undo those. No, you can't mix them up, it just won't work. This one won't go in that hole at all. I'll put them aside. Put it up that way so it can't roll off the bench. Now down the bottom here, this is just a drain. So that just drains off the any rubbish out of the bottom of your carbie. It's also a way to see if you're getting fuel to your carbie. If you're not sure, just undo that and turn the fuel tap on, and you should have a little stream coming out here. Now on the main mixture screw, that's nice and firm on this one. This first piece I'm undoing, that just helps the gland to stop this from leaking, how tight it is. Then the second screw, the one closest to the body, that's the one that actually holds it into the carby. So once again, keep an eye out for, is it a nice taper on the end there? Is it looking good? This looks pretty good. That's okay. It has a slight taper inwards here, and there's a little bit of probably cork, or it's often a little bit of rope seal type stuff in there to help that, so that's okay. Now the choke on this, there's absolutely no movement there. There's no real need to take this out, not that I can see. It feels good. That's okay there. The pin's nice and strong in through here. That feels good. Now, while your tractor's running, the choke is wide open. So even if you did have a little bit of movement in that shaft there, it's no big deal. It's not going to make your tractor run dicky or anything like that. So that's springing back nicely. The spring is sitting up in the back there. That's okay. A bit of movement there, but they have that anyway. Alright. Look, if we're going to do a video on doing a carby up, we'll do the lot. So we'll undo the nut. That's been undone before. You'll notice that there's a flat side of a nut, then a curved side. The curved side always goes out, away from the washer. So that nut's on back the front. Now this little fella here, he has a bush inside him that centralises the spring, centralises it on the shaft. We'll pop him back there. Now the little butterfly screws in here, once more we'll it doesn't feel like it wants to open for us. Yeah, that's going now. That one is anyway. Undone now. Get one little screw out of the way. Yeah, that's got it. It must be handy to have it in a vise, but in a vise you can't see what I'm doing. With my hand in the road you can't see what I'm doing anyway. I'm sort of working off the side. I've got the camera in this way and I'm coming in on the side, so just to try and let you see what's going on. So I'm a bit cack-handed. I'm cack-handed on a good day, left-handed, so that doesn't matter, does it? There we go. There's your choke plate. It looks good. A little bit of wear on this side. You can see it Slight little shiny piece. Little shine there. No big deal though. Now this is our choke shaft. There's just about nowhere there. You can just feel a little bit. Now this fella here, he's got a bit of wear there. Grab a big screwdriver. We've got a dog barking about something. And there you go. Right, we've sorted out why the dog was barking. Most important. Mrs. was going to town and the dog was just telling me. So, that bush there, that's always fairly sloppy. I've never bushed one of these. You can actually feel the wear on it. Actually, you can see the wear on that. But as the tractor moves, it must jiggle around a bit. But I've never seen a kit with one of these fellas in it. Not to say one couldn't be made, but where do you draw the line? That's not important to the smooth running of the tractor. So we'll put the tools aside. And have a look. What have we got to look at? We've got a heap of junk in the bottom of the carby there that we can get out. We'll make sure all the jet holes are clean. The choke shaft hole seems pretty good, so we don't need to bush that. There's a gauze there that you'll notice if you ever flood your tractor, sometimes you get fuel dropping out of that. It lets the fuel out but doesn't let the dirty air in. It will drip out of there a little bit sometimes. And once again, we're looking to see how flat this is. So we'll go and get a steel ruler and we'll just do a couple of checks, a couple of the easy checks. Right, out of nowhere appears a ruler. I'll just zoom back a little bit. Okay, so what we're looking for here, I'm trying to see what you can see in the camera while I'm doing this, is we're looking for a flat surface right through the centre here. And look, that's lovely and flat. No problems there at all. No gap, you can't see an air gap underneath. So we'll put him over there. The same on this fella here. We run a ruler across the top and we see if we can see a gap anywhere. And get the light behind you if you can, and you run through. And if you can see a gap anywhere, the idea is to get a bit of glass and a bit of sandpaper and do figures of 8. Well, I was always told figures of 8. Other people just go round and round and round. So, but I was told figures of 8 because that, doing a figure of 8, you have even pressure where if you just rub back and forth, often you'll end up, favouring one side, where when you're doing a figure of 8 and turning it round and doing a figure of 8, well then you probably have a more even pressure on it. And the other thing we check is this mounting flange here. This is very close. I think, I'll just hold up the light for a second. Yeah, I can just see a little bit of light there, but it's not as much as the gasket. So alright, I'll go and clean this up and I'll come back when we've got something interesting. Ha! You don't need to see me sandblast this.